Hello. You are here with me, Goddess Ekua Ahima, founder of all things AfroDomme, of course. And back again for another video. Happy Thursday to you. Okay. Today, as today's title suggests, whether you're watching this on TikTok while I'm live or YouTube while for the replay, today's title suggests, we are going to be talking about business credit and financial domination. First and foremost, how to establish business credit if you don't already have a system in place. Two, how to repair your personal credit, because establishing business credit is great, but one of the keys to establishing business credit is actually having personal credit. So we're going to talk about that briefly as well, and incentives for doing so, right? Why you want to take advantage of business credit, why you want to take advantage of the tax incentives that come with being an entrepreneur in the adult entertainment industry as a financial dominatrix, doing spicy work, what kinds of incentives are out there for us as adult content creators when it comes to tax incentives and things like that. So for more information, of course, you can become a student of ours inside of the AfroDomme Network. You must be over the age of 21 and legally identify as a Black woman. And you can become a member in the link in my bio. Give me just a moment. Hold on, guys. Okay. So yeah, anyway, we're going to be talking about, like I said, just a quick recap, business credit, establishing business credit, incentives and tax incentives for doing so, specifically as a financial dominatrix in the adult industry, etc. Why you need to be doing that, and then personal credit, addressing some things with personal credit that the internet gurus of repairing your personal credit and establishing business credit never fucking talk about, and the legal stuff. Okay, so I am no expert 100% with credit, taxes, stuff like that. I'm not going to pretend to be one. I'm not giving advice in today's live, in today's replay, or whatever, wherever you're watching this. I'm not giving advice from the representation or from the view of someone who is a professional expert. So me personally, I have a team. I have credit repair lawyers. I have a accountant. I have accounting services. So I have tax professionals and stuff like that. When it comes to outsourcing things, I am a firm believer that as an entrepreneur, I cannot wear all of the hats, right? When you first start your business, that's like the running joke of like, oh, you're doing this and you're doing that. You're wearing all of the hats. Ha, 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 ha. That's how you burn yourself out. That's how you burn yourself out. And that's how you're going to burn yourself out to the point where your business just no longer feels like that passion that you had about whatever it is that you're doing. You're not going to feel if you are constantly worrying about shit that the reality is you don't have to worry about. There are people you can hire to do certain things. Just go ahead and fucking do it. Like you pay for the convenience of living an easier life as a wealthy woman, right? You pay for the convenience of DoorDash so that you don't have to always go out and get food. You pay for the convenience of Netflix so that you don't have to fucking go to the movies or pay for cable, right? There's all of these different services that aren't necessarily luxuries, but more just conveniences. And you don't have to always put all of this weight on yourself. You don't have to always wear all of these different hats. So get a tax professional, get a credit lawyer, right? Use those different types of services and stop trying to do everything yourself, especially when you're brand new. Stop trying to do everything your fucking self to save a buck, because I promise you, the money that you think that you're saving and trying to figure it out and how to do it on your own, you're going to wind up spending 3 to 10 times more fixing whatever fuck ups happen from you being too tired, putting too much on your plate. You were supposed to do this all on your own, and now this got a little falling apart over here and this raggedy over there, and then you forgot about that, right? So then you're going to wind up spending more money on the back end, calling yourself where you were calling yourself trying to save money on the front, trying to do everything yourself. Right? Trying to be cheap with yourself, trying to avoid investing in help and what value that kind of help is actually going to have, because it's going to give you your time back. Wealthy women, rich women don't mind spending money on mentoring, services, products, and things that are going to make their life easier and give them more time. So if you are investing into, let's say for the sake of taxes, or credit building, for example, if you invest into a professional credit lawyer who can, on the personal side, take a look at your personal credit and help you address maybe collections, medical collections if you have those, student loan collections or debts if you have that, credit card debt, right? Late payments, things like that, things that aren't supposed to be on your credit, whatever, right? If you invest in a credit lawyer who can make that happen for you versus you trying to figure that all out yourself with YouTube video this and buy this girl course that and buy this girl ebook that, if you can just go to a credentialed professional and invest in someone who can actually sit down with you and get that done and give you all of that time back, the wealthy woman would decide to do that. Right? The wealthy woman is what would decide to do that, even if it costs a little bit more money. So for example, let's say you are a DIY type of girly and you are going to do the ebooks this and the course this and the YouTube university this and all of this other stuff, trying to piece together little things for you to figure out how to fix your personal credit. Well, first and foremost, you've wasted a lot of time. Yes, you've saved money, but again, you're thinking from at that state or that state of mind, you're still thinking from, that poor version of you, that version of you that is out of alignment with who you are now as a wealthy woman, as a successful entrepreneur, as someone who has the Amex card, has the 800 credit score, has all of these fantastic, wonderful different things now, has commercial properties, has fucking tax write-offs and paid vacations this and private jet that, and all of the things that come with being a businesswoman, being very, stingy with your time and your resources, investing your money well, and using business credit and utilizing business credit and tax incentives and all of the other things that a lot of other rich and wealthy people do to stay rich and wealthy to your advantage as well. So the version of yourself that, used to maybe work a 9 to 5, used to struggle with consistency online and things like that. The DIY girly, I got to wear all the hats, I got to do all of the things so I can try to save a buck. That mindset, that version of you is what's holding you back. So as you continue to grow and evolve mentally, emotionally, spiritually, professionally, one thing that we have to discuss is finances, is business credit, is establishing business credit and addressing personal credit. Okay? So with the other side, right? there are personal credit lawyers. I have a bunch of different resources inside of the AfroDomme Academy, of course, for my students. So if you guys are already a student here in today's live or on the replay, just know that you already have access to it inside of the InstaDom 101 section of our curriculum. So you can just find it in there. And if you have any questions, we can discuss things in the chat room. Let me know, where you are in the process. Of course, our community is a totally safe space. So people, you're not going to be sharing your tax information and your, credit score and stuff like that with us. But as you continue the process of talking to these lawyers and using some of these services, we definitely want to hear from you how you're seeing a increase or improvement in your credit score, at your journey through applying for these business credit cards, getting approved for this or approved for that. So that's the kind of stuff that we want to hear from you guys. So if you're not, again, a member of the AfroDomme Network and you want to, as a part of today's live, while you're just listening, getting some information, taking notes, if you want to join us for more in-depth information and group coaching, one-to-one coaching, you can always do that in the link in my bio. So let's say, for example, with a personal credit lawyers like the ones I suggest in our curriculum, I'm only suggesting these folks because I've worked with them before. Yes, I've heard certain things about them and other companies, but when you want to talk about a credit lawyer and working with a credit lawyer that can actually go into your report, and let's say, for example, for me, they were able to help me remove petty stuff that went to collections when I was in college, years and years and years ago. When I was 18, 19, I think I got approved for a Carnival credit card from the cruise line. And that was my first credit card, and I burnt it up and it went to collections or whatever. But then because it had been so long, I was able to use those lawyers to use the statute of limitations to say, hey, it's already been at least 7 years since this debt was sold to a collector. Or so basically they were able to get it completely removed off of my credit, so I didn't ever have to repay that money back, right? Versus if you're doing it by yourself and you're just a YouTube University DIY girly, you might feel the only way to get certain shit taken off of your credit is if you did pay them. So I didn't have to pay back that $2,500. I could have, but I didn't have to because, one, I knew the laws, and two, I had a lawyer who was able to step for me so that I could actually be literally doing anything but the fuck that. And basically he just let me know, hey, we got that shit removed. And my score went up. So I was like, bet. So credit lawyers can do stuff like that for you as well. And the reason why I suggest working with someone who's credible, who has experience, who has years in the game, it's no shade to, the self-proclaimed business credit girlies that hop on live, or business credit girlies on YouTube University or anything like that, that'll say you don't have to hire someone, you can do stuff yourself. It's no shade to them. It's no shade to anybody that's trying to sell business credit courses. I'm not that type. I just talk about business credit and teach it because that is a part of the process of becoming an entrepreneur. So, it would behoove me to share with you the same advice that worked for me to help me improve my credit score very, very well. So, using a credit lawyer and someone who's credible, not just someone off on the side selling a course, no shade, no tea. The law says, and this is federal law, which is why shade and tea, you should not be working with each and anybody that hops online and talks about, get in their course, get in there, this and that, because federal law mandates that anybody who claims that they can help you repair your personal credit or credit score, by federal law, they cannot charge you up front for that service. Yeah, by federal law, anyone who claims to be able to help you repair your personal credit, they cannot charge you up front for that service, right? So meaning they have to fix your fucking credit. If they say that they can take something off of your credit, if they say they're gonna write letters or call or do whatever loopholes, contracts, agreements they say they're gonna use, anybody who claims, and this is federal law, okay? I did not really go through with the rest of the training program, but I have a bunch of instruction manuals actually in my car right now. I have a bunch of instruction manuals from the FDCPA, the federal collection processing agency, and I have like the training materials and stuff like that you're supposed to do if you work for, let's say, like a government agency that does like collections and stuff like that. So I have a bunch of training manuals on state by state across the entire United States, different regulations, specific codes on the do's and don'ts that all collection agencies are supposed to follow, from like how many times they could call you on the phone to what times they can call you on the phone, or what kinds of debt can be sold in certain states versus other states, or what to do with the medical debt that's in collections and how to collect on that versus collections on debt that's attached to a car loan. So I have a bunch of different materials and stuff like that. That's not technically mine, but I do have access to the resources at now. So I just know what I'm talking about. But by federal law, like I was saying, anybody who claims that they can help you repair your credit in any way, they have to literally do the work first, and then you pay them after your assuming your score has already been improved. So again, if another tidbit, if you do see people, because I'm not that person, I'm not trying to help nobody repair their credit, I'm just telling you what you need to do. So if you see other people, however, talking about, oh, buy my course, I'm gonna fix your credit, oh, book me, pay me up front, I'm gonna fix your credit, just know that that person is not supposed to be doing what they're supposed to be doing. And federal law mandates that they actually have to do the work up front, and then you pay them on the back end. So the credit lawyers that I suggest for my students inside of our course, AfroDomme 101, of course, you'll see it when you become a member in the link in my bio, they do not charge up front. They do not charge up front. So they provide all of the assistance. They go through your credit score, different things that are on your reports, 3 different reports as well. Even though there's really only one credit bureau, there's 3 third parties that we all know about. And no, Credit Karma is not going to have your best credit score. You're going to have to go to Equifax, Experience, TransUnion, or Experian and TransUnion, even though those are, again, the third parties that I'm mentioning, because there's really only one, right? And it's all a scam at the end of the day, because the United States and LLC, whatever. Either way, that's the conditions that we in, so that's why we got to finesse the game, which is why when you know how to finesse the game, you can use the game to your advantage, which is why we talking about this shit to begin with. So anybody who's charging up front is violating federal law for their tax repair services. Don't let them tell you no motherfucking different. Literally call the IRS on them, or say that you're going to call the federal government right in their face and ask that question. And I promise you that person will know that you know the truth. So anyway, the credit lawyers that I suggest, they do not charge up front. So basically they do about 90 days worth of work for you. And then after that 90-day process, more than likely you're going to see things removed from your credit. You're going to see your score start to improve on the personal side. And then that's when you go ahead and make like a payment. And I did it a few years ago. For me, I think that was like less than $200. It wasn't even that much. And again, they had removed, so to speak, over what would have been like $3,000, $4,000 worth of debt. So like I'm up. And then you did it like to the point where I didn't even have to pay you until 90 days out. Because another thing with repairing your credit is, let's say, for example, you want to buy a G-Wagon, you want to get an apartment, you want to use your personal credit to do something big. If your personal credit is shit right now, and you want to get let's say a new apartment, a new car or something like that using your personal credit in the summer, you need to actually start repairing your credit now. Because if you start repairing your credit now and getting things removed now, it's not going to hit all three credit bureaus and the main bureau and stuff like that for you to really see a true effect until 30, sometimes even 60 days out. So if you know right now that you want to move into an apartment in July or June, but your credit is shit, baby, if you don't do something right now, come June when they go to run your credit's going to be fucked, right? So you really need to do something in April so that by May, rolling into June, your credit score is good. Don't wait till the 1st of June to try to fix your credit so that on the 15th of June, you can go apply for an apartment. Because yes, they just removed something off of your credit on the 5th, but that's not going to show up when somebody goes to run your credit until July. So again, if you want to get ahead of the game, you have to stay ahead of the game. And this is why having an expert do it so that they can take that off of your plate. Yes, be proactive about hiring them, but they're going to do all of that work for you so that you can stay ahead of the game. You don't have to worry about those kinds of things. So these are just small little tidbits that you need to know. Another one for personal credit, I like to use trade lines. Now, when I say trade lines, I do see girls on here these days talking about selling trade lines. They are doing their own little thing where they have you attach yourself to someone's credit card, some mystery stranger's credit or security. I don't know what that is. That sounds incredibly weird to me. That sounds incredibly dangerous. I would never do that. And you guys know me, I'm big on never attaching yourself to anybody for no fucking reason. So we don't attach ourselves to subs for no fucking money. And I'm not about to attach myself to no stranger about improving my fucking credit when I know that there are better ways to go about it. So when I'm talking about trade lines, there are legitimate services that you can use that charge anywhere between $5 to maybe even $45 a month to report a credit card, so to speak, on your credit to the 3 bureaus. Now, it's not really a credit card because you cannot swipe it and actually spend money, but it is a account or a trade line that you have that holds a balance. And then as you continue to make small payments of, like I said, $5, $10, $35, it's going to help you generate positive payment history and an open balance. Let's say it'll show up to someone who's running your credit, to someone it'll show up as if you have a credit card out there with a $3,000 balance. And out of that $3,000 balance on this credit card that you have, because they're not going to be able to see everything, they'll just see, that you have this trade line, so to speak. They'll see, oh, she has a $3,000 credit balance or credit limit. And based on, her usage for the card, there's a positive payment history. The utilization is really, really low. So she doesn't even use the $3,000 limit all the way up. Like, it's super low. The payments are regular. It's consistent. So that is, especially if you are someone who's 21, just starting to establish credit, that is something that'll definitely take you from, not necessarily zero, because you don't necessarily start off with a 0 credit score. Right out the gate, when I was 19, I had a 745 credit score. So you don't necessarily start off with a 0. But if you want to increase your odds, because the 745 is pretty good. Most standard cheap apartments look for like a 645 credit score. A 745 is not that bad, but most people want to be in the 800s just because that's the highest you can possibly go. So is it that big of a deal? No. Just like Glorilla said, we not really fucked up about no credit score. We might be rich as fuck them all. Because at the end of the day, I feel like, not to go down on a whole little tangent, but I just feel like credit scores were created because we're the only country that has them. So credit scores were really just created to penalize poor people for being poor. honestly, but we not gonna go into that. We not gonna go into that. So yeah, it's more so a game when you think about business credit, taxes, utilizing your credit scores, utilizing business credit. You want to think of this shit like a fucking game, because at the end of the day, like I said, even if you got shit in collections, the shit can get written off. Like the shit has a statute of limitations. There's only a certain amount of time where even if somebody sold something to a collector and they hitting you up and they calling you, it's only a certain amount of time they're going to legally be able to do that shit in every state, right? So the statute of limitations, even though certain small little stipulations are different state to state, the statute of limitations on a collection debt is only 7 years. So would someone who is maybe a tax expert say that the most sound advice is to, let everything go to fucking collections and then just don't pay the shit for 7 years? No, maybe they won't. But bitch, that's what I did. So I don't care, because it works. Like, I was irresponsible as hell with that credit card. When I was 19, I had a 745 credit score. The credit card was only $2,500, which was a lot of money to me back then. So chill on me. Okay. And I burnt that bitch up. As one does. But that's the thing. That credit company knew that I was finna do that. That's why they gave me that fucking credit card at 19, knowing that they was ready to do that to me. And that's 9 times out of 10 what the fuck was ready to happen. That's what I'm saying. Like, people use credit to keep people poor. They seen that my black ass was 19 years old and that nobody else in my family that they had talked to on the cruise could qualify for the fucking credit card. I could. 745 right out the gate, sign her up, right? They like, oh, hook, line, sinker, we got one. But did they really get me? Not really. Because that bitch went to collections. And to be honest, I just left the bitch alone. I never even paid the motherfucker. Have I had stuff go to collections before that I've paid off? Sure. But that one right there, I did not. So that was my lesson. And hey, you don't really gotta pay that bitch. Because to be honest, you don't really have to pay it after they sell your shit to a collector, because you didn't agree to have your shit sold to a collector, a debt collector. And sometimes they be trying to be sneaky now and write in the contracts that they, that you consent to them doing that, but you really didn't. And it's, at the end of the day, it's other shit in the world to be worried about. And if it really was a big deal about people going into debt, and to the point that they had to, have debt collectors come in, if it really was a big deal, why would they have a law that says we can only pursue this person after doing that for 7 years? And then after 7 years, we got to take it off the credit score. You can legally no longer pursue that debt that was owed, even if you rightfully earned that debt. You rightfully racked up a bill. After it's sold to a collector, they can only pursue you about that shit for 7 years. And then after 7 years, it's null and void. They can't do nothing about it. They can't take you to court about that shit, because that would be illegal. They would be violating federal laws at that point. They can't keep calling your phone. They can't even keep calling your phone for real and beating down your line and doing all that shit during the 7 years either. So if it really was a big deal, hear me out on this. If it really was a big deal, why would they have to, put all of these federal laws in place that basically make it seem like it ain't that big of a deal? And what you really need to do is just, if that happens to you, ride whatever the fuck happens to your credit out over the next 7 years and have enough cash flow to do the rest of, live the rest of your life, because rich people don't live on credit. I don't have a credit card like that. Not like that. Like a personal credit card. I don't have a personal credit card. And my credit is fine now. Because at the end of the day, I know that we're only doing this credit shit. It's a scam. It's the scam to keep people poor. It's a scam to keep people in debt, because if you're in debt, they feel like they got something over you. If you in debt, they can make you their fucking slave and try to make slavery legal because you owe a debt. You don't have to move that way. Like it's niggas out here. I know, Cashadina. It's niggas out here financing DoorDash. It's niggas out here using Afterpay for groceries. Right? It's niggas out here using Afterpay and Klarna to get groceries. And then go into debt because the Klarna bill goes to collections. How the fuck you go into collections for groceries? You getting sent to collections for groceries again because in this country, shut up. They're prioritizing keeping people poor, and they're prioritizing you not having the financial literacy and know-how of wealthy people. So again, it might not be a sound investment, but if you got some shit on your collections and you ain't did nothing about it, I would look. Hey, has it been 7 years yet? Because if so, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't pay that bitch, because whether you pay it or not, if you don't pay it, 7 years go by, this shit gonna go away. They can't hold it against you. It won't even show up on your credit report after that. It didn't happen. It's almost like it didn't happen. Or if you pay it, thinking that you a goody two shoes, let me do the right thing and pay this money back, even though it's been a few years. Now what you're going to do is technically on your credit, reopen the account, even though the account's not reopened. Right? So instead of it being 3 years old on your report, you just paid it. Now it's 1 year old again. Now you're actually getting negative points, even though you just paid it off. So your credit score is going down because now you just bought it right back up and just refreshed it and made it look like it was new again. Right? When in the reality, you should have just left that bitch alone and let it rot for 7 years, and it would have fallen the fuck off. Because even if, and that's another loophole that some people try to do as well. What if I is sold to a collection debt or collector, and I get them to agree to close the account and get them to send me the paperwork? They can do all of that too. But it's still going to sit on your report, and it's still going to count against you. It's going to now show up as closed and just, resolved because you paid it off. So you're more likely to maybe get approved for another apartment. Like if you have a collections debt from an apartment, shut up. If you have a collections from an apartment and you keep getting denied because of that collections, you can go back to that other person, pay them off, agree, get them to settle for less than what you actually owe, because you don't never got to pay them what you actually owe them. You can always lie and be like, oh, well, I got half of that. I got half of that, or I got a third of that, and I can give you that right here, right now, but I ain't got the rest of it, right? And they'll be like, all right, right? But even if you do that, that'll get you approved, but you also could have let that motherfucker rot for 7 years, and it would have just went away, and you wouldn't have had to pay at all. So it's like, it's a game on that. It's a game. And when you see that it's a game, you get to play it a little bit different than always worried about your fucking credit score, always worried about this, always worried about that, like they try to make you do. So that's personal credit. You want to focus on personal credit because your personal credit will affect your business credit. And that's going to be contrary to everything that you ever see people say, because all these little business credit bitches love to come on here and tell you can go get $100,000 with a brand new LLC at the bank with no paperwork. Just walk in there and be like, I got a business, I need some money, and they're going to give you $50,000, they're going to give you $100,000. They're lying. Because in order to establish business credit, you need personal credit. So even if your business, because your personal finances and your business finances are separate, that's the gag that they tell you. You can't mix your personal and business expenses and business finances, but your business credit very much so has something to do with your personal credit. Even though on the flip side, for your profit, it can't be mixed. But for their sake, when they want to deny your ass, it is mixed. Ain't that some shit? So in order for you to truly establish business credit and be able to, again, right out the gate, let's say, for example, actually have your LLC, your paperwork, and let's say your business is making net cash flow. You are at the point where you're making, let's say, a good $7,000 a month, right? If you're looking for like an Amex card, you're trying to get approved for an American Express card, you're probably going to want the one that has that $600 a month fee. Okay. The good Amex card, you're probably going to want to be making at minimum $7,000 a month in income. But again, that's why you have your business. That's why you have multiple streams of income. That's why you're a financial dominatrix. That's why you own other businesses. So on that side of the conversation, the $7,000 minimum worth of income and cash flow isn't an issue in this circumstance. We already have that. And now we are at the point of trying to apply for the Amex card, take the flights, get the G-Wagon, get the commercial property, etc. Right? Some of you aren't at that level yet. That's okay. You obviously can still take notes and participate in the conversation. Just know that this is the direction that you're heading in, and this is what you will need to know in order to get there. Give me just a second. Cashadina, we got to talk real quick, right? So anyway, yeah. If you have, hold up. This is the type of stuff you really don't hear on FinDom Talk. Of course not. Of course not. And, I don't really be meaning to be shady all the time, but take it how it resonates. They can't talk about it on FinDom Talk because they not doing it. Everybody's like, oh my God, you always talk about how much you make so much money. It's so unrealistic. It's not unrealistic. You just don't know how to make no fucking money. And you ain't never seen a bitch actually come out this motherfucker and start stepping and making money how I be moving and stepping and making money. And y'all need to take notes. So when it comes to, now we've already talked about a little bit about personal credit. When it comes to the business side of it, again, your business finances and your personal finances must be separate. But when it's on their side and they ready to approve you or deny your ass, they gonna combine them. Hello. When you are establishing business credit, you have a brand new LLC. You still may be working on the personal credit stuff because that takes time, right? Anything you do to your credit to repair it today will not show up until 30 days from now. So if you need to do something 30 days from now, you should have started repairing your credit yesterday or last month type shit, right? So when it comes to the business credit side and how to now establish small little things of business credit before you actually get up to the point of the Amex card. Maybe you're still working on the cash flow. There are ways for you, especially as a professional dominatrix, to still establish business credit. And the way to do that is going to be with net 30, net 60, net 90 financing. Net 30, net 60, net 90 means that these businesses are going to front you the product, the materials, the whatever, and then attached to your LLC and your DUNS number, your Duns and Bradstreet's number, which is free to get once you have your EIN. Your EIN is also free to get from the IRS. You don't have to pay somebody to do that. I know I talk about Taylor Brands, but Taylor Brands charges you to get the EIN just because Some of y'all lazy as hell. You really don't got to be that lazy. It only takes 5 minutes to go do. You don't got to pay Taylor Brands $100 to spend 5 minutes registering your EIN. You can go do that shit your fucking self. So, again, do that. Then go get your DUNS number. Dun & Bradstreet. Google it. That is what you'll need once you have your brand new LLC to start with net 30, net 60, net 90 to get your way in the door with business credit while you're still working on the personal credit side. Now, you want to be strategic with this because, again, like I just said, they're fronting you the product, and then 30 days later, 60 days later, 90 days later, your business, bop, 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 hello, at the door, is getting that fucking bill. So you need to make sure that you have that fucking money because, again, we wealthy women don't take out shit just to fuck up their credit, and you not about to fuck up your credit on your brand new business, are you? What? That would be ridiculous, right? So when you think about what can I use or what can I actually do to use or to utilize net 30, net 60 financing specifically as a FinDom, it has to make sense. You can't just go out there and do whatever and say, oh, it's net 30 and it's attached to my business, when you got a business that's registered under adult entertainment. No, ma'am. Like, what are you doing? It has to make sense. So, for example, one method, and I'll give you this, guys, I'll give you this as a little bit of a freebie, okay? For those of you who aren't in the course, if you want to, you can click the link in my bio for more in-depth information, etc. Uline, that website. Uline is a website where business to business, like for business to business, you can get a bunch of shit. You can get boxes, you can get cleaning supplies, you can get, if you needed a commercial kitchen for, like, if you're a baker or something like that, there's a bunch of shit all over Uline. People talk about Uline all the time. But again, you're a financial dominatrix. Your LLC is registered, your tax code is under adult entertainment. What the fuck is on Uline for you? Because you can't just go on Uline and just start buying shit for the sake of buying shit and attach it to and swipe your business credit card on the dotted line and think that that's how you're going to establish credit. Because why did you even buy that? Right? Now it's getting a little weird. You're raising tax flags. You're raising flags with accountants, stuff like that. So it has to make sense. As a financial dominatrix, though, what you do absolutely need is access to commercial grade disinfectants. What you do need access as a professional dominatrix to is commercial grade cleaning supplies. Because as a professional dominatrix, we clean and sanitize our toys, our dungeons, and our play spaces on a regular basis. And you can't use no Febreze and no soap and water and dish soap and hand sanitizer to clean a professional dungeon as a professional dominatrix. You need some medical grade, damn near hospital grade cleaning supplies because of the bodily fluids that you're going to come in contact with, sweat, germs, COVID is still a thing, right? Dust. As the professional dominatrix, you need access to damn near hospital grade, commercial grade cleaning supplies. And Uline supplies those things. So now, utilizing a brand new LLC and a brand new EIN number with maybe still repairing your personal credit, you're still able to use this hack with net 30, net 60, net 90 financing and get your commercial hospital grade cleaning supplies as the pro dom that you absolutely need to clean your space, which will be a tax write-off because you're buying materials for your space. And you're doing it on net 30, net 60 financing, which means they're going to send it to you. You don't have to pay for it up front. And a month later, you'll pay for it. 30 days later, 60 days later, 90 days later, you'll pay for it. And once you do that, you're going to wait, right? Just because you have the money to pay for it right then and there, you're going to wait that 30 days, wait that 90 days, wait that 60 days, and then pay for it, because now on the business side, Dun & Bradstreet, EIN number, LLC, you have now established a small trade line with Uline that says, we sent this LLC $100 worth of cleaning supplies on net 90 financing, and they paid us back on time. Good shit. And then again, as a professional dominatrix, you're going to be doing this over and over and over again, right? We go through cleaning supplies all the fucking time. So you're going to need a place of order through Uline for industrial cleaning supplies at least once a month. At least $25, $50, at least once a month. You pay it 30 days later, 60 days later, and continue that cycle, because you absolutely need those supplies, and you're going to be establishing small streamlines of credit. Take it a step further. You guys know that I talk about selling some of my used clothes as a financial dominatrix as well. And when I sell my used down there's, I like to create an experience for my subs when they open up the package and they get it in the mail. So I get myself a nice box. I get myself some nice tissue paper. And, you know, I create a vibe, okay? If you buy my dirty socks or my dirty panties, yes, it's going to come in an aesthetic box. It's not just going to come balled up in a, you know, plastic bag and just stuffed into, you know, some beat up box and wrapped up in newspaper. No, this is a reflection of me. I want you to look at this and be like, oh my God, it's Goddess Ekua's dirty socks in this fucking box. This is the best day of my life. That's the experience that I create for my submissives. Okay. But I get my supplies. The box, the wrapping paper, the labels for my printer, so that when I'm printing the label, you know, that you got to print out to take it to UPS, to take it to the post office, I'm getting all of that from Uline. Dirty socks and dirty stuff with no experience. I really want you to experience my dirty socks. I do. So I have to create a whole like I want a nigga to damn near hop on YouTube and be like, we are unboxing Goddess Ekua's dirty socks today. Let's get into it. Type shit. Like I want a nigga to damn near be willing to show off the packaging and talk a motherfucker through it on a YouTube video for at least 90 minutes, and motherfuckers eat that up the way that girlies be eating up the unboxing videos. That's how I get down. Okay? That's how I get down. That's who I am as a professional dominatrix. That's why men love me and spend so much money on me. But anyway, the supplies can come from Uline. The supplies can come from Uline. And again, using net 30, I'm already getting paid from the sub for the stuff. I already got the money to pay for it. But what I'm going to do is set that money aside and use the net 30, net 60, net 90 from Uline, get the supplies up front. And again, set aside the money he gave me, his money, and just pay for the boxes later. So now technically, he paid for the supplies and boosted my credit score on my business side and bought me more supplies to sell more dirty things to other desperate, horny men. So not only have I established business credit, now I just established business credit with another nigga money. Y'all not hearing me though. But y'all not hearing me though. I established business credit, was able to still swipe my business credit card and write it off, and doing it the right way by, let's say, for example, in that example, selling used clothes. I was able to do all of those things with that nigga money and not mine. Come on. Y'all gots to wake up. Y'all gots to wake up. The timeline has to catch up. Y'all have to catch up to this level of financial domination. Because all that other shit ain't gonna get you there. Ain't no spin the wheel games finna get you no business credit. Ain't no verification videos finna get you no business credit, babes. Okay? So, y'all better... ain't no $50 tributes finna do it either. And ain't no $5 OnlyFans nigga ain't gonna be willing to pay for no shit like this neither. Okay? So, that's what I be saying. Y'all, come on, catch up with me. So, anywho, once you take it there with Uline, that's just one option. The Uline option, doing that as a brand new business, as a brand new dom, over time will give you enough history on your brand new LLC. So that, let's say, for example, I know I was talking about a lot of times there are office spaces that you can rent, commercial office spaces that you can rent with a fairly new LLC with fairly little credit history. And the fairly little credit history is the Uline play that I was just telling y'all about. So then after, let's say, maybe 6 months or even a year of busting the trade on Uline, using your subs money and using it for, stuff that you actually need, commercial grade cleaning supplies and stuff for you to package your used clothes stuff and other things like that. If you have another business that's attached to your, FinDom dominatrix life, get packaging and things like that from there. Uline has a bunch of stuff. Uline got a bunch of shit. Trust me, you will have, if you have a good imagination as a dominatrix on how to create an experience, okay, Uline got a bunch of shit that you can take advantage of. You could go to Uline right now, uline.com. I know God is Sinful will definitely be headed to Uline and drop some stuff in the chat. I'm already knowing because she always be on it. But anyway, I know y'all gonna do it. I know y'all is. So, after about 6 months to a year of running it up with the Uline thing, making sure you're paying them off, handling your business, by that time, you'll probably way before then have a killer personal credit score as well. So your personal credit be up and all of that other shit. Then you can go to a commercial office space and say, hey, let me in this bitch. They not going to ask for no credit because they'll see when you give them the LLC paperwork that your business credit has enough cash flow, your business credit got enough motion, your business credit got enough data back behind it that they don't even give a fuck about your personal credit. They don't even want to see it. They'd be like, oh, such and such and such and such LLC. Well, let me look them up. Oh, well, they got motion. They doing just fine. We'll get you in here. All you need to give us is first month deposit. You don't even need to give us a double deposit. We don't need to check your personal credit. We don't need to check nothing. Just go ahead and give us a couple $100 and come get the keys, miss. They'll be treating you real nice. They'll do whatever you want. They ain't gonna be rude to you, because people like to be real rude to you when you fail that credit run. When they run your credit and that shit don't come back, the way that they need to come back in the leasing office, motherfuckers be acting real crazy. But when that card go through, okay, when you always swipe that motherfucker card and that bitch always get approved, motherfuckers they tone be a little different. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you finna find out. You gonna find out that tone be a little different when that card always go through. So, by that time, if the commercial property is, your path or what's something that you want to do, not everybody's going to want that. I suggest doing it because, hello, in this day and age, you be a fucking idiot not to own no fucking commercial property. You know what I'm saying? And find a way to flip that motherfucker into some money. Nigga, you can make money with an empty fucking room. You could buy an empty fucking room and call it an event space. You could buy an empty fucking room and paint it one fucking color and say, oh, this is an event space, and motherfuckers will line the fuck up to give you money for an empty fucking room. You don't even gotta decorate the bitch. They'll come in there and decorate it all on their own. And you just making money off of a big ass empty fucking room with 4 walls. and some lights in a bathroom, right? So you'd be a fucking idiot not to take advantage of that. So yeah, I would, after that, running that type of play, get a commercial property, because that's at that point passive income for you. You can hire somebody else to run the property, check on the property, whatever. You can have a property manager do with that, whatever. You could get an apartment complex after that. You could fucking franchise another business. You could do a whole lot of shit at that point, because again, now you have the play and the power to get your way, because you've already established credit, business credit, right? On the other side, you've been working on your personal credit, so now your personal credit's top notch. Niggas is not worried about that. Then go apply for the Amex card. Easy peasy. Then go get the G-Wagon. Easy peasy. And that's how you get to the point of people not wanting paperwork from you. That's how you get to the point of people not wanting you to put so much money down. It's not just, oh, you need a brand new LLC and you just walk into the bank and they just give it to you. No, your personal credit needs to be up to par. And by up to par, that bitch needs to be above 745. Okay. And then your business credit needs to be established as well. And you need to have some type of cash flow coming in. And again, if you're doing all of this, you making at least $7,000 a month, like we were talking about, you got cash flow, you talking about business credit, you're doing all of these things, you got subs buying this and doing that so that you can ship this and ship that. You're clearly making money, which means if they needed proof of income, pay stubs from you, again, you have your LLC all the way on the back end, because that's how you got here to even do all of those things. And through your LLC, you can write yourself. You can always create your own pay stubs, because you're literally paying yourself through your business anyway. So you was always finna be able to produce pay stubs for yourself. You was always finna be able to produce proof of income for yourself. That's like that was the bare minimum before we even started the conversation of establishing credit, right? So you already had that in the bag. That is how you do this. That's how you do it legitimately. That's how you do it legally. And that's how you do it as a financial dominatrix. Because nobody cares that you are an adult entertainer when you got your paperwork. Like, nobody gives a fuck about the fact that you are OnlyFans girl when you got an Amex card and that bitch don't decline. Nobody cares about that. Nobody's going to care about what you do on Loyal Fans, on a live stream, or Chatterbait, or Twitter. Nobody's going to give a shit about that when you got a 745 plus credit score, when your business credit is top notch, when those net 30, net 60, net 90 financing invoices continuously get paid. They're not going to give a fuck that you took a couple $1,000s from some guy in order to get that. Uline don't give a fuck about that. I promise you, Uline is not going to give a fuck about that when that invoice come that you had a motherfucker crawling around on the ground to get that couple $100. The invoice was paid. You went through your LLC. It's going to be reported as positive. That's going to protect you over there. Personal credit still going strong. All is well. But when you know better, you do better. So, but when you know better, you do better, because some girls don't know this at all. Some girls don't prioritize this at all. Some girls make money off of their subs, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with getting your hair done, your nails done, partying, drinking, but what you doing all of that all the time for when your personal credit's still raggedy? Right? Like, if as a financial dominatrix, why are you bragging about making a couple $1,000s a week when you can't even get approved for an apartment because your personal credit's still fucked up? Like, why haven't you used that money to fix your situation? Like actually be financially dominant? Because that's running the play like that, fixing your credit so that you're debt free, right? building a business and using business credit to establish yourself so that you can get the Amex card and get the travel rewards and a G-Wagon and your business name and write that off too. So now you got basically a damn near a free G-Wagon after a few years. That's financial domination. Like, the other shit is not financial domination. Spin the wheel games, verification videos, pay pig this, pay pig that. That's not FinDom. That's, I don't even know what to call it, because that's not FinDom. That's not you being financially dominant. Financially dominating someone or financially dominating life means that you're stable. It means that you're debt free. It means that, you know, you have shit and you know how to access wealth without having to put in so much fucking work. That is what financial domination is about. That is what financial domination is about. Is hella shit that's a write-off. Somebody said that's also a write-off. Doing your hair for your customers is could be a write-off, because when you're an adult content creator, think about it. You getting your nails done should be a write-off. You're doing that to create content, right? 9 times out of 10, I get my nails done, I'm going to make a nail video, right? And if you don't think about it like that, then you need to start thinking about it like that, because otherwise you're going to be wasting your money. Right? So now when you're at the nail salon as a FinDom, you need to know, hey, until you get your paperwork together, you are literally missing out on hundreds of thousands of dollars of tax write-offs. Because if you have your shit together, you can go to the nail salon, swipe your business card at the nail salon and say, oh, well, this is a business expense because I was getting my feet done in order for me to make foot content for my monthly subscription site. So therefore I was actually working, and this was materials and services that I needed to continue doing my job. Therefore, I can write this off for my taxes. You can do the same thing with your phone. You can do the same thing with your Wi-Fi. You can do the same thing with your iPad. You can do the same thing with your rent. You can do the same thing with your cameras. You can do the same thing with your ring lights, your tripods, your toys, your gear, your shoes, your lingerie, your accessories, everything that you fucking have as an adult content creator can now be a legitimate write-off, because through your business, those things have a direct relation to your job. You're a content creator in that fashion, right? You're getting your nails done so that you can go on Loyal Fans and do like this for 10 minutes and make content, right? That was you working. You needed your nails done to do said work, right? Therefore, you can now write it off. But if you don't have an LLC, then, well, you got your nails done, you made some content, but, you know, you don't really get much else from that, right? And when you move like a wealthy woman, you move from the mindset of someone who knows that your time is valuable. There are loopholes out here in this world that the wealthiest of wealthiest people use to stay wealthy. And you know these loopholes, you fucking have to use them. Some of y'all are going to walk away from this live stream. Some of y'all are going to even, when I put this replay on YouTube and hundreds more people watch my videos. Some of y'all going to walk away from this video and learn everything that we was just talking about, become students with us and get, you know, more in-depth information about what the fuck we was just talking about, and y'all not gonna do nothing with it. You're gonna think it's too much work. You don't got time to do that right now. I just need a sub right now, right here, right now, for this one temporary thing that's going on in my life. That's an urgent thing, but in the hindsight, it's probably something so small and insignificant. It's gonna be too much, right? But like I said, we don't wear all of the hats. There are services that you can use that, you know, do the taxes for you. That, you know, when you swipe the business card, it tells you, you know, which is it a write-off qualified or not? Is it, you know, how much could you possibly write off? You know, how to delegate it for certain things. There are certain services you can use for that now. You don't have to figure out how to repair your credit because you got credit lawyers. And like I said, you don't have to figure out which credit lawyer to go to because I just told you if you was a student of mine, I was finna tell you what the fuck to do. So it's always a way for you to get what you want. But you have to think about what it is that you're doing from that higher level perspective. So when I was a baby dom, I didn't get my paperwork and my LLC and all this other shit right out the gate. I did not. And that wound up hurting me because, you know, and plenty of other girls can attest to this. The worst thing that can happen to you is your business goes viral and you make a shit ton of money. And now that you have all of this money in your hand, because you don't have your paperwork together, you really can't do nothing with that money. You can't take a picture of some cash and be like, this is my proof of income for an apartment, for a house, for a car, for a mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna be rich in cash, but on paper, your credit's still fucked up, right? You might go viral and now all of a sudden you got 100,000 people following you and all your businesses, you know, went viral and you got like $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 worth of sales. But if your paperwork ain't together, all of the supplies and all of the things that you had to buy and the ring lights and the editing softwares and the Canva subscription and the times you was in a hotel when you went out of town, you're not going to be able to write none of that off and get, you know, a little bit of money back during tax season. So when tax season come around, because self-employed taxes, according to my accountants at this time, self-employment taxes is 14.6% right now. 14.69% self-employment taxes. And let's say you ain't do your due diligence and make sure that you can write off all of those different things. Now you just about to eat the fuck out of that 14.69% in taxes. You ain't gonna have no little money back over here for this, no little money back over there for that. You ain't gonna have no little money back over here for this, no little money back over there for that. You gonna be hurt. You gonna be happy that you had, you know, the money to afford to pay your taxes, but I bet you won't make that fucking mistake ever again. Okay, I bet you won't make that motherfucking mistake ever again, and you'll start to take business credit and write-offs and be about your shit and your paperwork. You'll start to take that shit a lot more seriously after you take that fat ass L and them self-employment taxes eat up damn near everything that you done fucking got. Don't leave you with nothing but maybe enough money for a tank of gas and a Chipotle bowl to go cry in the car after the fact. But like, woo, baby, you'll never make that mistake again. I bet you won't. Okay? So do yourself a favor and don't make the mistake the first time. Okay? How about that? Because you don't have to actually go through life and make mistakes in order to be a wise and smart person. You just have to have access to the right kind of information and just have your discernment not to do no dumbass shit. So just don't do that. Just don't do that. Get the paperwork. Take your time. Don't feel like, oh, well, I'm going about it the wrong way or shit's moving too slow. No, you're doing things the right way. You're doing things the right way. Yes, it takes about a year or so to establish business credit. But do you want to actually legitimately establish business credit, or do you want to get audited by the IRS? Pick your battle. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you really want to repair your personal credit and just have it good so that you can get approved for a new house, new car, new apartment? Or do you want to hire the bitch from TikTok that say you got to pay her up front and then she run off with the fucking money and now you still got fucked up credit and the situation and the story just keep repeating over and over and over again? Like, you have to pick your battles wisely. Wealthy women, rich women, incredibly successful women who use loopholes like this to become wealthy use these secrets. There are literal millionaires out here in the world off of nothing but business credit. You hear me? Off of nothing but business credit. It's people who are literally millionaires out here in the world off of nothing but business credit. And they were able to establish that business credit because they knew the loopholes. And they were smart enough to play the long game in the beginning in order to have that come up later on. You want that Amex card with no motherfucking limit? You want niggas to just walk, when you walk into the bank, they be like, how much money you need today? We'll take out a loan to make it happen for you. The fuck? You know what I'm saying? You know how people say when you take a loan from the bank, they really not giving you a loan, they giving you somebody else's money. If you want to be the bitch that walk into the bank and be like, give me a loan, give me $1 million, and have that $1 million come out of somebody else's bank account, you be the bitch to do that by utilizing these loopholes. You already, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we haven't really talked about how to get into FinDom, how to find subs, how to make money, because in this part of the conversation, you doing that is already a given. That's why we haven't addressed it. All right. That's why I haven't talked about, we'll make this type of content or do these, stats and things to find subs and to get subs. That part of the conversation is an assumption that you're already doing that. You're already doing that to a certain extent. You're already doing that to a certain extent with a certain amount of consistency that's got you at least 7 bands a month. At least. At least. And when you have multiple streams of income and you're a smart intellectual woman, making $7,000 a month in financial domination is not unheard of. Any bitch that's finna tell you that is unheard of is because she ain't never heard no shit like that. Because she not listening to nothing important. And if she not listening to nothing important, and if she ain't never heard of it, then you shouldn't listen to her either. Because if she not listening to nothing important, she ain't heard nothing valuable. And if she ain't heard nothing valuable, it's nothing she can fucking tell you. You hear me? Oh, okay. I know you did. I know you did. Anyway, what would be the equivalent to something in Canada for an LLC for you registering your business? That's a good question. I do not know. But if they do have an equivalent, you can always do that. And you don't have to establish your business in your country. Like, it's people out here that do have businesses in other countries. It's people that have LLCs established in Bermuda and they live in the United States. It's people who have Swiss bank accounts that live in Texas. It's niggas in the White House that got bank accounts in Russia. Okay. So, like, I don't know what the process would be, but I do know that it's other people out here that, you know, that's still making it happen. So you can absolutely get, you know, like if you in Canada, you can always buy a commercial property in the United States and register your LLC in the United States. And say, oh, my LLC is registered in Texas, but I live in Canada. And your business just on paperwork is in Texas, but you live in Canada. People do that all the time. Is PayPal safe? No, it is not. You don't operate a business using PayPal. Businesses don't use PayPal on a regular basis. PayPal is for personal transactions and friends. Not for business. So yeah, that is the play. That is the play. That is the play. From personal credit to how to repair your personal credit. I know we've been on here for a while. People are coming in and out. Personal credit, we've discussed. How to repair your personal credit, we discussed. Resources to do so, we've discussed. Limitations and laws on collections debts. Should you pay off a debt or should you not pay off a debt? We've discussed. We've talked a little bit about business credit and how to utilize business credit with a brand new LLC. We talked about how to get a free EIN number and a free DUNS number with Duns and Bradstreet once you get your LLC. We've talked about Taylor Brands for them to help you in your specific state register your LLC, and the importance of, as a financial dominatrix, specifically registering your LLC in adult entertainment so that you're not committing tax code fraud, because no, you are not an accountant, you are a whore. There's nothing wrong with saying that you are one because you're not doing something illegal. Just tell them that you are in adult entertainment. They can mind their fucking business from there. Okay? Just do it the right way. We talked about that. We've talked a little bit about net 30, net 60, and net 90 financing, how to utilize people being able to front you products and stuff like that up front, but how to do and use net 30 and net 60 financing specifically as a FinDom, because you can't just go out there and buy shit and just say, oh, it's for me to establish business credit. It has to be in alignment with your actual business. With your actual business. Okay? We talked about when after that to start reaching out, when you would want to start reaching out to commercial properties or start, making bigger moves, bigger plays with getting the car in your name, starting that process, getting a house in your name, starting that process. So I'm going to stop with the commercial property side, right? Because when it comes to then using business credit to get a car, that becomes a little bit of a different connection, a different conversation, because the tax information that goes into purchasing the vehicle, the usage of the vehicle, and how you're using the vehicle specifically as a FinDom would be a little bit of a different conversation as well, right? Because what does the financial dominatrix need a car for? You would have to backtrack and have some other business plans and business moves connected to your work as a financial dominatrix that would make sense to then again say, yes, you need a car in your business as a FinDom. So that's why you need those other business moves, business investments, other streams of income. And that's a little bit of a different conversation, and the conversation's already been pretty long, so I won't overwhelm you with too much information. And the tax information, like I said, is a little different as well. Based on what kind of car you want and what you're going to be using it for, and the mileage and all of those things. And then purchasing a property, not a commercial property, but purchasing a property. Financial advisors take a consultation fee, right? I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't have a financial advisor personally. A financial advisor would be somebody that monitors your finances and tells you, like, based on your current circumstances, how you can invest in the stock market or stuff like that. I don't necessarily have a financial advisor. No. Yeah. I make and sell personal items, body butters, etc. Can I combine the two businesses into one? So that would be more so a question for you to identify. How would you be able to align your body butters, etc. with what you do as a financial dominatrix? Is there a market for it? Absolutely. Have I done it myself? Of course. Those who remember several years ago, as a candle maker, I've always been a candle maker, but I released a line of massage, cutting the grass outside. I released a line of wax play and massage candles on my vanilla business at first, and then I brought it over into my work as a dom because, of course, I do wax play as a professional. So I was like, well, why not? Everybody likes wax play. So yeah. It wound up being really, really fun, and they were a bestseller for sure. So it is possible. It's just about, again, it needs to be something that's in alignment with your business, with your business model. You can't just do something for the sake of trying to finesse the system to get the write-off. It has to be very much like an obvious alignment with your business. Otherwise, it will raise red flags with everyone that matters. No, you would not tell the bank that you're getting a loan from that you're an adult entertainer. Right, registering the LLC in adult entertainment. And that's what you need. You need to register the LLC in adult entertainment so that you have the tax code connected to your LLC. The right tax code connected to your LLC in adult entertainment. You don't go around telling anybody that you're an adult entertainer at all. You go around telling them that you are a representation or representative of this LLC, and you're signing on the dotted line as the representative of this LLC. Once they look at the tax code, they'll see themselves that it's an adult entertainment. None of that matters, though. You don't have to tell them that at all. They'll see that when they go to approve you for some shit. But again, when you're doing it this way, it's not gonna matter however they feel about adult entertainment at all, because you getting approved for some shit. So like that part, like however they feel about when they hear the terms adult entertainment, because just because the tax code says adult entertainment, that could be anything. You could be the owner of a strip club and have an LLC in adult entertainment. You could be an OnlyFans model and have an LLC in adult entertainment. You could fucking, I don't know, you could sell sex toys in a store, a commercial property, and have an LLC in adult entertainment. None of that's gonna matter. All they need to know is that you're getting approved. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. So yeah, let me end this live right here because I actually need to go use the bathroom. And I know TikTok already said we missed our 90-minute mark. So I'm going to end it right here for the sake of the replay so that I can get it onto my device. Y'all know, because I stay running out of memory. So let me end it right here for y'all, so that I can get the specific parts about business credit and stuff like that over on YouTube. And my memory is not shitty in my iPad. And then we can wrap back around. Somebody has a question real quick about developing contracts with submissives. That is definitely great. All contracts should be, when you have your paperwork and your LLCs, legally binding documents. I have templates for my contractual agreements based on, like, let's say, for example, chastity. One contract that I use with my subs is for chastity and chastity key holding. I have a template that I provide to my students as a part of our online course. I used to sell it individually, but now it's just all weaved into just one price, because I feel like there's no point in trying to like pay for this and then pay for that. Like, I hated that in college where you had to like pay for a class and then you had to pay for the textbook separately. So I just combined everything together. So yeah. Those of you who are my students, especially if you're brand new, I know there's lots of information to look at, but there is a specific section in the textbooks section that we have, that I have a downloadable template of a chastity key holding agreement, a contractual agreement. And then you can use that template in addition to your legal team, especially if you go through Taylor Brands to set up your LLC in adult entertainment. Taylor Brands will also connect you to a legal compliance team that can help you establish NDA agreements or other contractual agreements as well. So the chastity key holding one is a great template to use because you'll want to have the legal jargon that goes into it for your protection, but then also the dom sub jargon and stuff like that that goes into that as well. Just to quickly answer your question before I jump off, because now I really gotta pee. So helpful, glad I have access to it. Awesome. God is sinful. I look forward to hearing from you in just a second, because I know you've been on Uline, girl. Tell me something that you found. For any of my other students that was in here sitting in the back and didn't say nothing, I love you and see you guys as well. Mwah, 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 mwah. Happy April. It is almost Taurus season, you guys. We are just showing off and being abundant and rich and wealthy and successful all month long. And baby, you can't be rich and wealthy and successful if you still got fucked up credit and you ain't got no business credit yet. So go ahead and get all your shit together so that we can ride around the city with our new G-Wagons this summer, okay? And swipe these motherfucking credit cards and these Amex cards that's in our name, financed by these motherfuckers' dollars, okay? Love it. Click the link in my bio and become a member. Mwah, 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 mwah. See